Hey, 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 hey! What's going on, Mech Army? Ooh, yeah. Welcome to the Child of Mecha live stream. I am your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha. Look at that, Bill got it right. The skull. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Hey, if you want one of these awesome skull hats right there, man, go hit up www.childofmecha.com. Hit the store button up at the top. You will find this hat, many more shirts, prints of my work, all sorts of other fun stuff on there. Go hit it up. Stock up right now. If you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we're going to be working with here today, man, I highly suggest you hit the little Amazon link below here on Twitch and YouTube. That side, if you're watching on Facebook, tons of good stuff in there. I do get a bit of a commission based off the stuff that you buy, but it doesn't increase the cost for you. That's the good part. Lots of fun stuff in there. Like I said, tools and materials, books for inspiration, gear for streaming. If you want to get into that, now's the perfect time. Go hit that up. That goes to help me out, help out the stream, help fuel our future endeavors moving forward. And as always, if you need kits or paints, tools, accessories, what have you, Mecha Decals, sheets 1 and 2, that's in stock. Those are both in stock and shipping now. Go hit up our good friends right down here, USA Gundam Store. Adam and the fine crew down there will definitely have what you need. So, let's see. Oh, man, after last night's stream, I got a kind of a burst of creative energy, right? And just did a ton of building after the fact on the RX-78 rifle that we're working on for the GBWC build. I know, it's an early show, but just bear with me because I'm kind of proud of this right here. And I want to show you real quick. Robert Cottrell's over there in the Mech Army Facebook group, and some other nerd named Joel Stone is over there. He says, "What up, nerd?" Who is this guy? Joel Stone. Have you guys ever heard of this guy? I don't know. Evidently, he's got some t-shirt company or something. Makes weird looking things. I don't know. Joel Stone. Who is that? What's going on, dude? Oh, Pab says Joel's sitting there in his cam girl room. Wow. Yo, Pabby is like shots fired there, man. Woo. Woo. Wow. All right. Anyway, like I said, I wanna show you guys real quick what this thing is looking like because I'm pretty excited about this. So let's go camera 2, and here's the rifle thus far. And for those of you not watching the nighttime streams, man, I'm going to tell you right now, you probably should, because the GBWC build, especially with the weapons and everything, is starting to heat up pretty nice, because this thing is starting to take a whole lot of shape. I'm going to tell you that right now. Let's see. Joel says, haha, man. He says, watching at work in the cam girl office. Thank you very much. There you go, Pabby. He's in the cam girl office. Nice. They have an office for the cam girls at Holy Mountain, I guess. So at least they treat the cam girls right. That's good to see. Good to see. Anyway, Jesus, I can't believe we're going down that rabbit hole. All right, so here's like I said, here's the gun that we worked on last night. Now, the big thing for me was last night after the show, I got this assembly right here created. Let's get you zoomed in here real quick so you can kind of see the progress. Yeah. Oh, look, there's There's Joel. Look at him. He says, "You're a cam girl, Pabs." Nice. This little assembly right here, I got done last night, kind of after the show. So, we take off the scope, we take the mag off, we take the barrel off here, and then this part right here comes off, and then all of that, you can kind of see, is just glued on here, mounted on. And this part, which is from the Master Grade Origin Gundam, that just pops right in there like that. And then that slots in with the nozzle very, very nicely. And that's all. These are all like native. These two parts right here are just native parts from the Master Grade Gundam Origin, right? Which is a great kit, by the way. Yeah. So I'm just super happy and super jazzed with how this thing is coming out. Just yeah. It's looking so good. It's looking so good. I just had to show you guys, right? Had to show you guys. Anyway, let's see here. Let me get one other thing pulled up. Forgot to pull up Twitchy Twitch. So let's get Twitchy Twitch pulled up here, yeah? Let's see. Pap says, "You'd want that, wouldn't you, bud?" Joel says, "I got work to do." There you go. Gonna tune in later. There you are. Cool. Thank you, Joel, for stopping by and gracing us with your presence, you fucking cam girl. Oh, I love it. I love it. Anyway, Alex Andrews gives us the big old smiley laughy face. Alright, for Aurora, Mr. Andrew 1.0 says, "Looks great." Written Wisely's got a question. Let's go for that.
We have a question.
He says, "Are you going to leave it so it can be detachable like that and then time yourself assembling it?" No. No, that's not it at all. I'll probably leave it like this to be able to break down just for travel and everything. I've got one more element to put on this thing, and that's on this side, and it's this dumb scopy thing, and it's probably going to go right about there, kind of at an angle somehow. I don't know. I'll figure that out at a later date, but super happy with it. Super happy with it. Yeah. Yep. Anywho. Let's see. Yeah, Greek Knockers is trying to add some hype over there on Twitch, and I don't know if it worked or not. I don't know, Charles, man. Anyway, let's see here. Enrico Asanohashi. What's going on, man? He says, "Yeah, just joined the Mecha Army group." There we go. Don't know why I hadn't done it before. I don't know either, right? What's up with that? Gumpa Uruguay Javier says, "That's it. Meeting over. Switching to the stream." There you go. Dean's with us. Hey, Dean. Chris R. What's going on, Chris? He says, "I love the little magazine detail bit." Oh, yeah, the one up at the top. It's a good thing, right? Chris Pab says, "I also have a question." Okay.
We have a question.
Is the magazine going to get any extra detail? Man, I don't know. Let's see. Maybe a little bit up near the top here. Maybe. Maybe a little some on the bottom. But other than that, it's looking pretty good already. I don't know. The whole beam rifle's still very much a work in progress, right? So, yeah. Oh, Greek knockers. Yeah, we can do that, man. Let's get the baby Dremel out of the way here. Let's see what it do. Go back to here. All right. Do. Yeah. Yeah, Charles, it already says that Streamlabs is a mod on the channel, so I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Twitch is all weird to me, man. It's like another... Anyway. Alright, so, let's see here. What do? We tackled this yesterday, right? We did the little side skirt deal. And created that cool little insert there. The little strapping detail on top. Did all that. So we're not going to mess around with that anymore because we're pretty much good to go there. Let's see. What can we work on today? I'm thinking either this here or maybe the foot. What do you guys think? Foot or thruster? Let's go. Let's get a consensus in the chat. Foot or thruster? Let's go, everybody. Foot or thruster? Sound off. Foot or thruster? Foot or thruster? Foot or thruster? Which one? Which one? Let me know. Foot or thruster? Pab says thruster. Brandon says foot. Let's go. Ooh, thrusters. Whew. Foot. Oh, foot is making a comeback. The foot's making a comeback. Whoa, foot is pulling ahead. Foot. Ooh. Man, thruster started out decent, then the foot came back. Whoa, now the thruster is coming back. It's a dead heat right now. We got some people saying both. I don't know if we're gonna have time for both. Shoo. Okay. It's like one and one right now. It's a dead heat, you guys. Thruster's coming back though. All right, let's see here. We got let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 for looks like 5 for thruster. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for thruster. 7. Let's see. Oh no, that's 8. Sorry, 8 for thruster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for foot. Ooh, 9 to 8. Foot wins. Anyway, that was fun, right? Stupid little game, but anyway. So all right. So as the people have spoken, we're going to be working on the foot today. All right, rock and roll. So we'll add some details to this and kind of do this up and see what we can do to this thing. Let's see. First and foremost, how do we take this apart? I don't even know. I don't even remember how to take this damn thing apart. I'll be honest. Let's see. Superset says both at the same time. Yeah, I'm sure that'll work really well, right? Okay, so here we go. We got that. Got that. There. And yeah, so this comes off there. And then this there, and then there we go. There's just the ankle block and all that. That can all kind of stay intact. We don't give a squat about that much to be honest. But here's kind of the bits and bobs and pieces and all of this that we can work on and kind of detail and all that fun stuff, right? Let's see. William Wilm says, Tim, you take a hammer to the foot, that will help you take it apart, right? It will. It really will. Brandon's got a question.
We have a question.
He says, do you ever add detail and build on full assemblies instead of breaking them down to individual parts and panels? I mean, it depends. It depends. Usually what I'll do is I will break down the pieces to make it a little bit easier for, you know, the detailing process, but then I'll have kind of like the counterpart piece, you know, for like, you know, for instance, the other foot. I'll have this kind of sitting around and where I can kind of, you know, take a visual cue off of how the parts go together. Now, say if it's like an individual part, like the chest or something like that, or the head or something, then obviously that's, you know, you're putting the parts back on multiple times, taking them back off, putting them back on, seeing how they look, the whole 9 yards. And that's just kind of my individual process, right? Everybody kind of has their own process, but that's kind of just mine. Putting them together, taking them apart, putting them together, taking them apart multiple times, and just continually just testing to see how they look together, right? So that's kind of how I would operate. So, anywho, all right. Let's start with the little side pieces here first. Yeah, these little guys that are kind of oriented that way, right? So it's like this and like that on either side of the foot, right? So what I'm thinking at this point is to, number one, we're gonna need a little bit of more separation in these parts here. So what we can do, 0.15, let's get that started first. But actually, let's get rid of the hat first. Yeah, let's get our eyes on, just like that. Yeah, and let's go to it right now. What I'm going to go ahead and do is separate, basically scribe these parts a bit separate, right? So perimeter scribing essentially is what we're going to be doing now. For this piece, we're going to just kind of let the parts guide our chisel here at this point. Whoop. And as you've probably heard me say time and time again, this helps with this helps to make these parts look separate, right? And when they look separate, it looks a lot kind of more realistic. When you go to prime and paint these, when you go to apply your panel lining fluid or whatever, that's going to sink into these scribe lines, and that's going to make these parts look, you know, like they're not a molded together piece of plastic. Let's put it that way, right? Oh, Chris R. Is Chris R still here? Chris, any updates on Sabo? I know it's later in the year, but has there been any sort of decisions made thus far? Just curious. Everything else is basically getting canceled, so I'm not necessarily At this point, hopeful. But can't hurt to ask, right? So, as of now, it's still going on. Yeah, I guess it's still too early for a decision anyway, so cool. Thought I'd ask. Brandon Cobb, he's over there on the Facebook page. He's got a question though, so let's get that answered here. Hey. He asks, quick question, the Mr. Color line of paints, what kind of thinner should I use and what's the best ratio for an airbrush? Great question. If you're using Mr. Color, I will always suggest to you, and I don't have it anywhere around me, unfortunately, Mr. Color or Mr. Leveling Thinner. Mr. Leveling Thinner is by far the best thinner out there for solvent-based acrylics, lacquer, for lack of a better term. But that is by far the best thinner. You can mix that obviously with Mr. Color. You can mix that with Tamiya paints, the Tamiya acrylics. That works amazingly well. You can also mix that with other types of solvent-based paints as well. Like what is it? AK's what's their line? It's their lacquer line. I forget the name of it, but you can mix it with those and some of the other ones as well. So yeah, Mr. Leveling Thinner by far is the best thinner there for Mr. Color paints and the other ones. In terms of ratios, I'll be honest with you, there is no magic ratio. The best thing I can tell you is to work and mix it by eye. And look for a milky consistency. Once you reach that, then you're in pretty good shape, right? The thing that you'll find is that each color, not necessarily each brand, but each color will have its own unique mixing ratio, right? Because, Enrico Asanohashi says AK Real Colors. Yeah, their AK is like their newer lacquer line. It came out like a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago. I forget which. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's from what I've seen, it's very nice. But anyway, like I said, each color will have its own mixing ratio. The problem that a lot of people have, especially with Tamiya White, the X2, that I think by far is probably one of the hardest colors to airbrush, and I think that's a generalization across the board for people, because it's for some strange reason it's incredibly difficult to find a mixing, a thinning ratio. What I've found is that if you mix it with Mr. Hobby or Mr. Leveling Thinner, and you mix it down and you thin it down really, really nice and thin, man, it sprays beautifully after that. But it needs more. That color in particular needs more than most other colors. Your lighter colors tend to need more thinning, where your darker colors and your more saturated colors need a bit less. And that's just a generalization, but it's definitely mixed by color. So that's the best thing I can tell you. There's no magic ratio. Start, probably 1-to-1, and then kind of go from there. That's what I would say. So, yep. Let's see. Kyle H says, quick work break to see what Tim is up to. Kyle, you missed the gun. Oh, Kyle. There we go. Anyway. Chris R., he's got a question. Look at that. Let's get him answered. Yeah?
We have a question.
Button. Didn't want to go off. He says, I have a question also before I forget. So I primed the Dom getting ready for paint and noticed it is not completely smooth in areas. I was sanding and adding plate to... How would I get that out? I have used super glue and sanded again. Still there. I can send you a pic if needed. Yeah, dude, definitely. Send me a pic and I'll take a look at it after the stream. Just continue, kind of smoothing that out. That's the best thing I can tell you. Use super glue and sand it again. Still there. Yeah. Some spots are just problem spots. At the end of the day, it's one of those things. Everybody, I think, has run into that before. Yeah, send me pictures, Chris, and I'll take a look at it after stream and try to give you my best advice. Chances are it's just one of those problem spots where you just kind of have to continually work, and kind of prime it, 40, 50 different times, just like Pabby. So, yeah. One of those things. Let's see. Ranger Chris is over there on YouTube. He says, hi, all. A little late to getting on. What has been happening? Oh, not much, man. We were just reviewing, and we just kind of made a couple scribe lines. Nothing much, just so far, right? Brandon Cobb over there on Facebook. He says, awesome. Thanks for the advice. I'm working on my first major custom and didn't want to screw up all the progress. Nice. I like it. Manny, Mr. McDeo, he's over there on YouTube. He says, hey, y'all, what's going on, babyface Manny? Kyle H says, solid pew-pew right there, right? Alex Andrews says, uh-oh, it's Dio. Bill says, Chris, I would spray some Mr. Surfacer 500 on it, then begin sanding smooth. Start with 600 grit. Vary your directionality. Is that a word? I don't know. Get it to wet sand smoothness. Pretty much, yeah. I mean, Bill's right on top of his game. Yeah. Let's see. Scott Day over there on YouTube. He says the SMS color white is really good to work with, and it's pre-mixed. Yeah, all the SMS colors are good to work with, right? Especially the color shift paints. Oh, love those things. Manny says, hello, hey Alex, I am well, just heading into work. Manny, be safe, buddy. Be safe. Gumpy Uruguay, Mr. Javier says, I really want to try SMS, but they are lacquer. Can't buy them online. And Enrico Asanohashi says, I know, right? Tries not to cry. Man, I feel bad for you guys down there. It's tough. That is tough. It's just, yeah. Just one of those things, right? One of those things. All right. So, here, let's kind of pick this back up and kind of get this thing rolling here. Now, just kind of, like I said, separating these parts just with a simple scribe line, right? That's all we really need. Some guys will actually cut these apart and separate them that way. I honestly don't focus. There we go. I don't necessarily see the use in that extreme. For the most part, if you're going for a super, separated look, then I totally would get it. But for our purposes right here, these are looking, pretty good, just with a simple scribe line to it, right? Oh, you know what I forgot to mention? I don't know if Josh, Mr. VFX10 Viper, is in the audience or not, but if you guys have not seen his rendition of the Gundam Unicorn, the one that he bashed with the high grade and everything, man, it looks awesome. He finished it, I think, yesterday or the day before, I forget which. But really well done, white, pastel like purple, and then kind of gradients of that pastel purple. it's just really, really good looking. And then he did, he actually did the same color scheme before on an actual high-grade Gundam Unicorn. And he had the two standing side by side, and it's just an awesome look because, you know, you can see the proportionality differences, but the colors are the exact same, and it's kind of a head trip a little bit. So it's really it's a really, really cool look. So if you have not checked it out, go check out VFX10 Viper on Instagram. Our boy Josh, and man, it's really, really good looking. Really good looking. Let's see. Chris says, thank you, Rush. I'll look into getting some. There you go. Nice. RF Aurora, Mr. Andrew 1.0. I feel like an idiot. I misplaced my decal cutting scissors. Man, just use regular scissors, man. Yeah. Ranger Chris says, also, apparently SMS is run by the Ghost of Xeon. It is, yeah, our boy Scotty. He is the owner-operator of SMS. It's completely his brand. He does everything in-house. He does all the bottling and everything. It's like homegrown, and it's awesome, yeah. Yeah, Enrico Asanohashi, yeah, it is. He was on Goblin Talk a while ago, and they talked about it, yeah. Wonderful guy. Love Scotty to death, man. He's such a great dude. Really insightful episode. It is, and he is he knows his stuff about paints and mixtures and all that stuff. Like, I swear, if I ever had a paint question, he'd be one of my first go-tos, hands down. Hands down. Let's see, Ranger Chris only found that out yesterday. Oh, yeah. Couple Uruguay, the same guy that had a tutorial on how to paint with nail varnish. Damn right, yeah. Brandon says, have to get on a Zoom call at 4 with 12 other students from my capstone class. Oh, man. That's always fun, right? Zoom call. Yay. With 12 other people, so 13 total. Ugh. I'm sure that'll be enjoyable. Yeah. Enjoyable like a root canal. Anyway. Alright. Let's see here. Now we're going to go and separate this little panel here. So we're just going to follow the shape and kind of cut these lines in here. There we go. There we are. Let's see now. Perfect. Now, one of the problems that we are going to run into is that by separating this particular panel right here, we need to also kind of make a cross cut on this surface because this is all solid up here, right? But we'll jump to that here in just a second. Let's get these lines reinforced here. Just like that. So that looks pretty dang good so far. Alright, so now we have to cut across this this piece. Now, what I'm going to do, and I've told you guys, do as I say, not as I do. I get it. But I'm going to freehand. I'm going to raw dog this here real quick. But for those of you that don't have a ton of experience with chisels, man, use a piece of guide tape, right? Okay, there we go. Right across there. Easy peasy. And now we just go and reinforce that. But like I say again, if you don't have a lot of experience with chisels, don't raw dog your lines. Me, I've been working with chisels for a long time. Long ass time. I know what I'm doing. Most of the time. Most of the time. Okay, now we're just going to just kind of accentuate this separation here. Just like that. And then we're going to pull one line right down here. And there we go. All right, so that's step number one. Get rid of that thing. There we are. Okay, so let's take a look here at this, at the comparisons real quick, yeah? Get a soupy zoom going here. And let's pull out just like that, just to get both of these kind of in frame there, just like that. And then let's go 5x. Bang on. There we are. All right, so now you guys can see visually how these two kind of differ at this point, right? Just like that, right? This one over here, this is the one that we just scribed in, and you can visually tell the difference just by the shadows of the piece, right? Especially with this line right here. I mean, this line is much, much darker than this, simply because now it has a shadow of depth to it, right? And then also, too, you can tell this line right around here. And we might have to kind of turn that just a bit so the shadow catches a little bit more. But you can see how that is much more separate looking. And then obviously on top here we've got the two pieces separated by a scribe line, just like that. So that's kind of what we're talking about. We scribe these parts in a way that make them look separate, and by making them look separate, it gives them a little bit more realism, but a bit more mechanical realism as well, right? So that's the idea. That's the intent. So let's see. Let's go back here. Let's get out of soupy zoom, chicken nuggies, chalky milk, all that good stuff. Okay, let's get caught up here just real quick. let's see. Gumpel Uruguay says, awesome fellow. Yeah, Scotty, SMS. RF Aurora, Andrew 1.0 says, the only other size scissor in the house that are kitchen shear size, sadly. Wow. Whew. A bit overkill for decals, right? Let's see. Kyle says, that's what I was going to suggest, Bill. Oh, using a hobby knife, Bill says. Yeah. Andrew says, that was my next step, but I just found them hiding under my keyboard. There we go. Manny says, oh, yeah, Tim. Hey, Tim, the Regazi is so awesome. Dude, it is. It is freaking amazing, right? Let's see. William Williams says, don't act like a fart. Tape your part. Wow. Did you... How long did it take you to come up with that one, Will? I know you were thinking about that all night, weren't you? Weren't you? Jesus. Manny says, put that on a shirt, Will. Yeah, I agree. Manny says, scribing discipline. There you go. Bro Butter, Mr. Brian, he says, looking tasty, Tim. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that, buddy. R. Aurora says, Plastic Magic is the best model cement I own. I swear I have that and 2 bottles of Tamiya Extra Thin Cement. I don't ever open the Tamiya anymore. There we go. From the mouths of babes. There you go. Nice. Let's see. Gumpel Ronan, Mr. Z says, hey, all, I finally made it to a stream. Yeah, you did? Where the hell you been, man? You been working? Don't tell me you've been working. I know you don't work. Come on now. William Wilm says, took me a week to rhyme a word with part. Nice. I like it. All right. So we're still working on these two side pieces here, right? We're not done with this just yet, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this piece that we were scribing on here, and we're gonna continue to kind of refine this and work this down. First and foremost, chisel discipline. Just do it. Be about it, right? Just live that life, man. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab 0.30. We're going to start making some tasty notches here, right? As Brian says, looking tasty. We're going to make some tasty notches. Anyway, all right. So what we're going to do first is we're going to do a little bit of measurement here, yeah? Now, just by eye, I'm looking at about here. Whoa, that pencil lead doesn't. Oh, that's reached the end of its life. Look at that. That poor little guy. All right. Well, you're in the garbage, and I don't. I'm all out on this one. Good thing I have a backup. Haha. Always have a backup for your backup. Anyway, getting back to this, it looks like right about here, and I'm thinking right about here is probably going to be proper placement for two notches, right? But let's do some measuring and find out, shall we? Let's see how far off we are. That looks to be about 2 millimeter in. About 1.5 there. 1.5 there. Okay, so little less than 1.5, but that's fine. That's fine. At least we were close on both. That's the important part, right? That's the important part. All right. So with that being said, let's scribe some notches here, shall we? These are just going to be very small notches, very subtle. These aren't going to be, big boys like 0.6 or anything like that. There we go. Now we're going to flip this around once we've got the groove set in here. Okay, now pull the 0.15 back out, and we can clear out the debris in the line itself here. Just like that. Swap back to the 0.3. Let's try not to get the visor in the way. Always a challenge for me, I'll be honest with you. Alright, let's check the height. Alright, so the bottom one here still needs a little bit of work. Comparatively, in height it was a bit shorter. So we lengthen that just slightly to bring it to about the same height as the other one. Yeah, and that looks really good. Alright, so now what we'll do a quick clean out of the line, and then we'll kind of go in there with the toothbrush, right? Just like that. And there are two little notches there, right? That's pretty good looking. So that's kind of where this part is gonna be on this foot, just like that. So you can kind of tell right there. So I think that's a good start. I think that's a really, really good start. Now, we're not done though. We're not done. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're going to put a nice little kind of floating notch right there, about dead center. Just like that, right? I think that's going to look really, really good right there. But it's not going to be 0.15, and it's sure as hell not going to be 0.3. We're going to call out the big guns. We're going to go 0.6 on this one. It needs a big, beefy notch, right? Big, beefy notch. Everybody likes that. Let's see. Where do we leave off? Let's see. Brandon says, hey, Z, when is the drawing for the winners of your contest, right? Z says, literally been working, sir. New job is a lot right now. That's awesome to hear, though. I'll be honest with you. Kind of jealous, but kind of not. Let's see. Z says, I'm going to get to it tonight, Brandon, and announce it tomorrow. Nice. Excellent. Brandon says, no worries at all. Just curious. Congrats on the new job, by the way. I second that. Definitely. Chris R says, Z has a contest? What? Yeah, man. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. Z says, I did, Chris. It was a shopping giveaway. Yeah, for helping out, patronizing USA Gundam Store, actually. Hell yeah. Tex Marquise is over there on YouTube. She gives us a good hi. What's going on? Let's see. Manny says, Chris, I know, right? Let's see. Everybody's saying hi. Brandon says, all right, hope I'm back before the end of the stream, but if not, have a great day. Guys and gals, talk to you tomorrow. Brandon, take care, buddy. Thank you for watching. Appreciate that. All right, cool. Let's see. Kyle H says, oh, of these days we'll be able to see what Tim see. One of these days, I don't know what he probably forgot. We'll see what Tim sees through those zoomers. Really? You think so? Not that you'd ever be able to see through these. I don't know. Maybe. Let's Can you? Ooh, yeah, look at that. A little bit, but not much. I'd say that's a failed experiment. All right, let's get to this, shall we? Let's see. First and foremost, we need to find kind of center on this, and that's about 3 mil. And actually, our pencil mark was actually really dead on there on the middle. So what we're gonna do? Let's see here. Let's grab a kind of a scrap piece of plastic here. Just use that as kind of our straight edge, right? And since this is kind of an awkward piece, it's not even on any of the sides here. We are just going to kind of free ball the angle. We're just going to kind of go like that, right? And like I said, this is going to be a floating scribe. So this isn't going to finish at the edge of the part or anything like that. This is going to literally be right in the kind of floating at the in the center of the piece, right? Just like that. Now, hopefully my visor's not in the way. Jesus. It's going to be close to the edge, but just not falling off the edge. And there we are. Now we're just got to even up the bottom of this thing. Let's see. I think this is going to look pretty nice on the foot. There. Whoa, don't drop it now. All right, clean that out a bit. All right, and just a little evening out on the bottom of this this notch, just to make it all nice and level, just like that. Get the debris out of there, and let's give that just a real quick surface sand just to clean up our marks and everything. Yeah, see that? That's very nice. I like the look of that. That's really, really good. Now, compared to the native piece there, that's looking really nice. That's going to be a good look for all of this. And it's just simple outline scribing, simple, 3 little notches, easy, right? Easy stuff. So I'm happy with that. That's looking really, really quite nice. And we'll go with that. We will go with that. So let's see. We're going to put that piece off to the side real quick. Let's see. We're not going to duplicate this until very last. This here pops in right about there on this assembly, right? Let me see something here. We're going to put that on there, and then we're going to, let's see. Slot this in here, and what I essentially want to see is where everything kind of falls on this piece, right? So we outline that little edge in pencil, and then we pull the piece, and then we can see kind of how much this outer armor piece overlaps this this heel piece. Ah, yeah, and see, look, that's how much it overlaps, right? So what my original thought was to do a couple notches on this side here. Whoop. Basically just to kind of, you know, give it that look, just to tie that in, right? But knowing that it overlaps that much, I don't think I'm going to go that route. I don't think I'm going to go that route. What we might do is just leave this heel piece kind of clean, honestly. We'll do a little bit of part separation with the with a perimeter scribe and everything, but other than that, I think we'll just keep it clean. You know, I don't know, maybe something on the back here, but just keep it simple, right? Keep it simple. All right. So first and foremost, let's get rid of let's get these two parts separated here. Pretty simple. We just follow this surface here. That's our guide. All right. So now, let's check to see how far we can... Yeah, see, that's never going to be seen. I was thinking of wrapping this panel, wrapping the scribe around the front here, but that's going to be underneath the side skirts and everything, like on the ankle skirts on the side and everything, and you're never gonna see that. So it's not even kind of worth the hassle at this point. So we're going to leave that be. All right, good stuff there. Now, question of the day. Do we add anything back here? Or do we leave it be? Because no, we leave it be. We leave it be because this is what it's gonna look like all together, right? This is the leg assembly and everything, just like that, right? Even if we put something back here, a scribe or whatever. It's never going to be seen because you've got this this little psycho frame piece, and that's not going to be clear in the end product. That I am going to be painting that, and that will be completely opaque. You will not be able to see through it. So doing a detail back here, honestly, at this point, it's kind of law of diminishing returns at that point. It's just not worth the hassle right now. But doing something down here with the heel, definitely. We can definitely do something with that. So we'll leave that be. That part's done. That part is completely done at this point. Now, the other thing that we have to keep in mind is the front kind of ankle. Where's the one for this? Here it is. The front ankle armor goes on here, and that hides a lot of stuff as well, right? So there's that. There's the front ankle armor for this. So we need to be cognizant of the fact that this comes down and hides, especially this white part, the top of the foot there, right? And it comes down and potentially hits. This hinges out, which is a good thing, but still, we need to keep all that kind of in the back of our heads. So let's see what we can do. What we can do here. Let's go with these two pieces here. The front of the foot, right? Put these together just to kind of get an overall impression of this. Let's see. I'm thinking what we can do. Let's get this part sanded here real quick first, just so we can lay down some graphite. There we go. Now, what we can do is play off these two corners of this opening, right? Kind of come down like this. Something like that, right? To start with, our basic kind of our basic box shape there, and I think that's going to look really pretty damn good as a starting off point, right? So there's that. Now, another thing that we can do on the sides, and this could be kind of fun. Let's get this piece sanded here. We're going to play off the angles a little bit, right? And that's always a good look when you are able to achieve that, right? So what I'm thinking is play off this angle right here, right? Kind of come up like this, and then shoot a panel just straight back and kind of follow this line and go parallel to it, right? Just like that. And that will basically disappear behind these kind of side flaps, right? But you'll still see the hint of it down in the middle of the foot. And I think that'll look really pretty damn nice. All right, so start with that first, right? And then what we can do is really bring this down kind of like that in the corners, right? Do something like that. Maybe kind of nice big notch right down there in the middle of that little panel. Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll look good. Let's see. Ooh, look, we got some questions. All right, let's get caught up, shall we? Let's see. Text says, past the baking stage of quarantine, diving into the craft cocktail rabbit hole. All right. Let's see. Ranger Chris said, just wait till you get to the cleaning and yard work stage. Yeah. She says, actually, Animal Crossing covers that. Nice. Let's see. Dean's back. And then he says, all right, I'm going to go. Christ. He's back and then he leaves. 2 minutes later. That's all good. All right. So Scott Day over there on YouTube, he's got a question.
We have a question.
He says, do you wash all parts before paint or just clean down parts with a cloth? No. Good question. Good question, Scotty. No. Wash them all. Every single one of them. Wash them all. Normally, under normal situations, what I would do is kind of dunk all the parts in 91% isopropyl alcohol. Now, obviously, with the things going on today, that's somewhat of a rare commodity, right? So, just a bit of soap and water will do the same trick. Just make sure to rinse them thoroughly. But if you do have isopropyl alcohol, then definitely go and use that, because that's going to get your surfaces just pristinely clean. It's going to cut through the grease, all the grime. It's going to just kind of leave your plastic kind of almost like with a dry, flat feel to it. And man, it's super to work with at that point. Make sure to wear gloves, until you get that thing, completely primed and all. And then even still wash your hands before you handle your parts, because any, body oils, grease from your fingers that transfers to the part, that can have an adverse effect with paint adhesion. So definitely keep that in mind. But yes, always wash your parts before you prime and paint. 100%, yeah. Written Wisely says, I'm going to claim the YouTube chat in the name of the Queen. All right. Do you have a flag? Because you can't claim it unless you have a flag. That's maritime rules. Let's see. Kyle H says, you touched it last, all yours. Written Wisely. Wow. William Williams says, what Queen? What did I miss? Yeah, I don't know. Scotty Day, he's got... oh, wait a minute. I haven't looked before, but I think... Oh, okay, yeah. So same question. Yeah. Yeah, do you wash all your parts before painting, or do you just clean them with something? I haven't before, but think I'll look into it. Yeah, dude. So yeah, same thing. Just wash your parts. And Scott, the best thing I can tell you is if you're interested kind of in my workflow, hit up my website, or see the sticky, the pin post on my Facebook page. It's got my complete workflow. Actually, look right below right now. My complete workflow, start to end. And you can download that. It's just a simple PDF and follow that if you prefer. Let's see. Super Koji over there on YouTube has a question. He says, when adding raised detail with plot plate, how do you round off, bevel the edges of that piece? Great question. Basically, you got to do it real careful, obviously, right? Hey, Chris R., thank you for the link over there on the tubes. A few things that you can do. Let's see. Where was the piece yesterday? Actually, did we even bevel that? No, we did not bevel that piece. Where was the side skirt or the back skirt that we worked on the other day? Ah, here it is. So this is one of the pieces that we worked on the other day right here, and we installed this kind of raised piece right here, right in the middle, this little strip, and after the fact, we went ahead and beveled it. Now, you got to be super, super careful with this, with beveling, pieces in place, right? This is only a 0.5 millimeter thick, so there's not a lot of kind of wiggle room at that point. But what I did was I took just, my hobby knife and just kind of scraped down the sides. You can alternatively use a ceramic scraper like this, or you can also bevel that before you install the piece. Personally, I like to do it after the fact, but that's just me. It really comes down to whatever kind of floats your boat at that point. Yeah, that's kind of the short story of it. Yeah. So, good question. Good question. Okay, so let's get describing this this foot here, right? Let's take some measurements because that's going to be very important at this point. Let's see. We're looking at about 4.8 opening, which that's actually perfect for us because Evergreen makes a 4.8 strip that we can use as a guide here. So let's find that. I think this is it right here. Oh, and by the way, look at that. Hey, you can actually see the screen on the calipers now, right? But there we are, yeah. See, look at that. 4.76. That is our 4.8. So we'll get that in there, get that locked in. And now we can cut some Dymo tape. Let's see. First and foremost, we got to square the ends off here. Cut that. All right. And there's our strip of 4.8 Dymo, right? Now, this should fit real nicely right in there. It's actually a little too wide. So what we're going to do, we're going to keep that piece. We're going to kind of put it off to the side. And we're going to move this guide block in. Focus. There we go. We're going to move this guide block in just a hair. Just like that, right? The reason being is because we want the guide tape to be just a hair thinner than the opening, because we want the thickness of the panel lines to match and come up right at the corners of the piece. So let's try this and see what that looks like here. Better, but not there yet. So we're going to continue to keep those two pieces. We're going to keep those in our scrap box. We're going to move this over just a bit more. And, as you can see, with pieces like this, a lot of it's trial and error, guys. A lot of it is trial and error. That's why I keep a bin, a little box of kind of scrap Dymo, right? So there's our piece that we just cut. Here's kind of my box of scraps, right? And these two pieces that we cut before, these will go right in here. We can use them at a later date for something. Who knows what, but we'll use them, right? Never throw away, cut off pieces of Dymo. Recycle. Yeah, see, now that that piece right there, that's going to be perfect for our uses because that is just slightly thinner than that opening. So that's perfect. Now, next thing we have to do is bevel the edges of this thing, and what we're going to do is we're going to use a 0.25 millimeter or quarter millimeter strip here as our thickness gauge here. We're going to put that right between the stop block and the blade. We're going to smash the stop block right up against that, and we're going to lock that right into place. Peel that back, put the arm back down, and then what we're going to go ahead and do is put the 45-degree guide right up against the blade and lock that right into place. So now we're going to get a 0.5 millimeter bevel on both sides of this thing. Now, watch digits. And let's cut this. And focus. There we go. There you can kind of see the bevels on both sides. So that's exactly what we're looking for, right? So now we can put the chopper out of the way for just a little bit, and so you can kind of see here on our part how that lines up really, really nicely, and that's basically going to be our scribing guide, just like that. Easy stuff. All right, so let's start with that. First and foremost, chisel discipline. Practice, chisel, discipline. The hardest part of scribing for me is always removing the damn backing off of this tape. Always has been, probably always will be. Just a absolute pain in the ass. But good results still. Load that in the tweezers, get rid of that. And let's get this thing placed up here. Initial placement for your tape is absolutely crucial. So you want to take your time when putting your tape down, because if that's not placed perfectly, then your lines are just going to be off, and it's going to look really, really bad. But that looks really good. It looks centered. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. All right, let's go with that. So, back to 0.15 as our chisel O choice, right? And we're just going to start working around this shape. Now, this is one thing that a lot of guides and books and scribing gurus and masters and everything, this is one thing that nobody says, and that's kind of progression around a design and everything. And I think it's actually kind of an important thing, or at least it is for me, and it might be for you. The way that I have found works best for me is when I lay down a piece like this, I start basically, if you're looking at the piece, I start on the left side, right? Focus. Bingo. I start on the left side here. This, if you were facing this, this is the left side for me. It's in my left hand. I focus on this side. And since this is going off of the surface, I'll start here, pull back, and then work my way around the actual piece in a counter clockwise fashion. The reason because is I'm right-handed. If I was left-handed, I would do everything the opposite way, right? This makes it easy to connect the corners for me, and I'll show you the reason why. And this will kind of be in a scribing video when I go to make that. But, so you pull your first line, and you start here at the very corner. Easy stuff, right? So when you start here at this corner, that naturally makes that corner nice and clean. Makes it nice and square, right? So that is the perfect way to start your scribing. Now, going around this, you want to make that first line just a little proud of your tape, or a little beyond where your tape ends, right? And what's going to happen is when you go to pull that other line or the next line, it's going to have a natural stopping point. It's going to run right into that previous line that you pulled, and it's just going to stop the chisel dead in its tracks, and then you can just kind of progress from there, right? So I pull that line, it stops there, I pivot, and boom, right out the back again. That is going to make your lines so much more clean, your corners especially so much neater. It's just the way that I've kind of found over time that just works the best for me and gives me the best results, honestly. Now, when that debris builds up, obviously, you're going to need to clean that out. And that's with any line, any chisel, or any line, any notch, anything, you know, kind of like that, right? But if you're doing this the right way, the connections between the lines are going to be really, really nice and clean. Okay. Alright, and then the last part here is you can just kind of start right in the corner, just kind of drag that line right off the surface, right? Just like that. Alright, so let's get this peeled off of there. Alright, since we have already a good idea of what our design is, we're going to go ahead and just do a little cleanup with the sandpaper here. And that is unfortunately going to sand the graphite away, but it will also give you a good indication of how our line looks here too. And there's that. Really nice and clean. Really good looking. Really, really good. And see how that runs right up to the corners of the opening here and here. And that looks like that it could just hinge up, and somebody can, you know, a maintenance person can get right in there and work on any of the systems inside of the foot, right? And that's the name of the game, is just making them nice and clean as you possibly can, right? So. Written Wisely says, found it, was a bit dusty. What did you find? I don't know. Anyway. All right, so let's clean this up here real quick. Let's get moving on to the next step. What time is it? 4:35. Cool. All right, we got plenty of time then. Let's clean this out with the toothbrush first, because that'll get a lot of that plastic dust out of there. And then we'll just kind of come back in here and clean the rest out with our chisel. Whoa, there it goes. Whoops. All right. Yeah, super clean. Super clean right there. Boom. All right. Jeff Santiago, he's over there on YouTube. He's got a question. As the Stream Deck restarts. Oh, no, it didn't. Hey, it didn't restart. It freaked out, but it didn't restart. Good job, Stream Deck. Jeff Santiago says, hi, Tim. Newbie question here. How or which edge to use when using the chisel? Does it depend on the line? Thanks, Jeff from Dubai. Hey, Dubai, what? What's going on, man? Awesome. So, great question. Yes, it actually does matter which edge to use. Let's get super zoomed in. Number one, so you can kind of see the fruit of our labor here. Boom. See that? Nice and clean. Right there, looking good. But let's take a look here with the chisel. Now, any chisel that any hobby style chisel that you buy is going to be shaped like this, right? It's going to have you know, your sloping edge this way, and it's going to have your flat edge down here at the bottom. This is the way you want to hold it against the against plastic, just like this, right? With that sloped edge up facing. Imagine this is the plastic. This is kind of how you want to go, right? So it's not you're not pushing into the plastic most of the time. Probably a good 98% of the time you're not going to do that. You're going to pull this way, and essentially you're going to scrape the plastic, right? So this is the motion, this is the orientation of the chisel that you should be using. If you held it like this, you would have to hold it at a super acute angle to the, or obtuse angle right here like this, and that's just not efficient. This is the orientation just like this that you want, right? Sloped edge away from the piece, and just scraping in this kind of general direction, right? That's how you're going to form your line, just scraping that plastic right up. Now, if you're doing it right, you should get like little kind of, I guess, little pigtails of plastic. And here's one of them right here. Just this little, that that little type of thing. If you're using your chisel right, that's kind of the result that you should start to see. And obviously, it's going to, the size of those little pigtail pieces are going to vary on the width of your chisel that you're using. But especially for smaller ones, you're going to get very, very thin little ribbons of plastic coming off. But yeah, you should be scraping and not pushing into it like that. So hopefully that helps, man. And hey, greetings to everybody in Dubai. Miss you guys. That's awesome. All right, so let's get continued on here, shall we? All right, so we've got this here. Let's get out of super zoom so we can get back to work properly. Okay. Now we need to do a little bit more measuring here. So we've got our starting off point, but we need to measure the bottom of this box here, right? Because that's looking like just a little under 3 millimeters, right? So let's get our chopper back in here, and we're gonna remove the 45 because we don't need that right now. But what we do need is our little Zona L square, so we can measure out 3 millimeters here, or just under 3 millimeters. So let's see. There's 1. There's 2. We're gonna go about 2.5, right about there. And I think that's gonna look pretty good. So let's pop that in place, and let's get some Dymo back in here. What did I do with it? Here it is. All right. So we're going to cut a strip of this at about 2.5, and with the area of the blade that is just, because the blade bevels down to a point, right? So there's going to be incremental space between the tip of that blade, which is your cutting edge, and the stop block, and that's usually about 1/4 to 1/2 millimeter depending. So that's about what we're looking at. So hopefully this should be a perfect, yeah, and that's, let me see, how is that? Is that looking good? Okay, so I'm looking at it, and that may be just a hair thin, just a little bit. So we're going to creep this over just a bit, just a tiny bit, and lock that in place. Let's get another piece cut here real quick, and then we'll kind of match that up. Okay. So one thing that I'm noticing here is that there's a little debris right there. That might have been our culprit. Now this might be too wide. Watch. But let's match it up and find out, shall we? Nope, that's perfect. Sweet. All right, so we use that. We'll pop this off to the side here. Let's see. Consento 25 has got a question for us.
We have a question.
They say, are the higher cost styrene cutters more worth getting over the lower end? Now, Consento, when you say styrene cutters, are you meaning chisels? Or do you mean like a specified tool simply to cut styrene? Because there's actually both, right? There's the Tamiya panel line scriber, which is a complete misnomer, because that's actually more like basically more like a styrene cutter, like the board you were just using. Oh. The chopper. Okay. Yes. This right here is absolutely worth its weight in gold. I personally, I don't know if I would be able to model the same way without this that I can with it, right? So yes, the chopper too, if you can find it. I know that it's starting to come back in stock in a lot of places, which is a good thing. But if you can get one, by all means get one, because they are just, it's a magical kind of tool that will really kind of change the way you do things. It did for me. So yes, 100% yes, they are definitely worth the higher cost. Now, there's another one out there by RP Tools, I think is the name. That's a lot more expensive. At least here in the States, it's a lot more expensive. That's about $100. I don't know if that one's worth it. The chopper at about 50 or 60 here in the US is definitely worth it. But then, you know, the chopper outside of the US increases in price simply because of shipping and imports and stuff like that. So then you kind of have to weigh the good and the bad in terms of that. And I'd still probably go with the chopper over the RP Tools one. But that's just my own kind of personal opinion. But yes, they are 100%, no matter which way you go, they're definitely worth the price. Absolutely, hands down. Yes. All right. So, time check, 4:46. Plenty of time still to do what we need to do. All right. So let's get the backing removed off of this thing here. Just like that. Get on. There we go. All right. And then let's get this placed. All right. Press that down, and then let's measure real quick before we do anything else. We're looking at 2 millimeters to the edge of the bevel. A little more than 2 right there. All right, now that's a hair over 2. Now that's a hair over 2. Excellent. So we're finally centered at this point. That's looking pretty good. All right, so now back to the 0.15, and these are 2 just straight lines right off the edge of the plastic. So this is going to be real quick and simple. This isn't going to be much of anything here. Okay. All right. So we can remove that piece of Dymo tape, pop that into the garbage, and we just need to reinforce our 2 lines here. But just initial estimate placement looks really good. Alignment looks nice. Now we just need to reinforce these to about the same level as everything else. And yeah, that looks really, really good. Let's get this all cleaned up here. And there we go. You can kind of see how that is all connected now. And let's see, a few more steps to go, and then we're basically done with this thing. Let's see, that's a little too high. There's 3.2. That looks pretty good. There's what we want. So we're just using our 3.2 little scribing jig, and we're just kind of getting that latched onto the very end here. We're just going to pull a line right across here, just for aesthetics and variance. And now we'll go back, reinforce that once we've got the groove set in. Clean off the sides first, and then go back in here and deepen this panel line. Yeah. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, cool. So that concludes our use of 0.15. Now, we're going to pull out the 0.6. Focus. Boom, 0.6, and we're going to get one of our notches right down here at the end, very end of this piece. Now, I'm going to eyeball it for center. And we're going to just kind of get that notched in here real quick, and then we're going to do a little bit of measuring to see if we are centered. 1 mil there, 1 mil there. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So now, this is another example of do what I say, not as I do. I am pushing into the plastic, and I'm raw dogging the placement and all of this. So use tape if you're not experienced with the chisels, right? There we are. Cool. All right, so now let's see. Ooh, that looks nice. That looks nice. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, let's get the foot back together and let's see kind of what we did here. Okay. Pop that right in there. This guy goes back on the side here. And this goes over yonder, right under there. I hate this high grade. This high grade sucks. But it is what it is, right? There we are. All right. Foot is back together. Let's take a look at our work, shall we? All right. Brandon over there on YouTube, he says, proud dad moment. He says, my littlest one just said her first word today, and it was daddy. Man, imagine if it was Tim. That would have been a weird moment, right? Or the one and only. Jesus. Can you guys imagine that? Oh, funny stuff. Anyway, no, Brandon, that's awesome, dude. Very, very cool. Alright. Let's get this guy in here like that. So you guys can see what's going on. 5X. Boom. There it is. Oh, man. Brandon's little one. The one and only. What? So there you go. There you goes. There you guys can see how that looks. That design and everything. That's looking really, really good. You can kind of see, kind of the mechanical kind of thought process that went into it. This all can basically then be removed. These two side pieces are then independent and they can be removed, right? So if there's like damage to one of the sides here, this can be taken off rather than the whole front assembly. So that's the thought process that went into it, right? And then here's our sides. That's all looking really nice with all of the little panels separated, the little notches in here for detail, the little floating notch right there. That all just looks really what you would expect in Gundam, right? Yeah, that looks really good. I'm liking it. We didn't get to the side scribe or anything like that, but yeah, still happy with that. Now, chisel discipline. Always practice it. Always practice it. Yeah? Alright, let's see. Let's get out of super zoom here real quick. Get back out of there. Leave that there on screen for y'all to take a looky look, right? And let's get caught up with the chat, shall we? Let's see. Let's see. Where did we leave off? Charles Dodge over there on YouTube, he says, if you order directly from Northwest Short Line, it's $50 before shipping. Yeah, that's actually a really good price if you're getting it direct from the company. Let's see. Superset 5 over there says, I just made a blood sacrifice to the Gunpla gods. Now I know my build will be a success. I don't know if that's a clear indication of that, but hey, whatever floats your boat, Superset, right? Consento25 says, thank you for answering the question. My pleasure, man. Jeff Santiago over there on YouTube, he says, hi, Charles. You just call it chopper or cutting board? Charles Dodge says the brand name is the Chopper 2, right? So yeah, here, Jeff, this is, let's see if we can get the arm out of the way and you can kind of see the, boom, right there. And of course the arm doesn't want to play. There we go. There it is. The Chopper. And this is number 2, right? There's the Chopper 1. The Chopper 1 is terrible. That's a piece of garbage. Don't even bother with that. What you want is this big boy right here. This is the Chopper 2, right? That's what you want. This is, I'm guessing, like cast aluminum. It's got the nice cutting mat, really stable swing arm. It's got these 2 metal guides and everything. Great tool. Again, like I said, it changes. It really does change the way you build, right? So that's the stuff. And Chris R just put the link in there. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that, buddy. Very, very good looking out. And Jeff says, cool, looks very helpful. It can be used in plot plates too. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Now, the thing is, when you're cutting plate with this, right, you are limited by the length of the blade. And this just takes standard, your standard razor blades, right? You know, the ones that you use like in kind of like scrapers and stuff like that. These standard blades, right? You can get these at really any hardware store. Yeah, hit up one of them. The chopper actually comes with a few blades, I think like 5. There's nothing special about them. They're just generic blades. But you can get a pack of 100 of these and be set basically for life. So that's kind of the beauty of this tool, is you don't need anything really proprietary. That blade is held in by a single little screw right here. So you just need like maybe a little screwdriver to replace the blade every once in a while. And honestly, you're off to the races. So, yeah, it's a great tool. Great tool. Let's see. Brandon says, Chopper 2 is great for smaller things as it uses razor blades. For long cuts, use a hobby knife and a straight edge. Absolutely. He says, I wouldn't use the chopper for anything over 0.5 millimeter in thickness. The blade will wander and give a wonky edge. I wouldn't necessarily agree with 0.5 millimeter. I'd probably go up to 1.5 millimeters in thickness. Cutting 1 millimeter, it's fine. 1.5 millimeters to 2 millimeters, yeah, you get a little bit of wave, you know, a little bit of wander in the blade, but you know, 1 millimeter, you're gonna get perfect cuts, you know, straight and true and everything there too as well. So you'll be fine. Creek Knockos over there, Charles Dodge on Twitch, he says, in another hobby, it ain't a project till you bleed on it. Right? And Superset says, much like Warhammer 40K. There you go. Written Wisely says, fancy. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Terry T says, next words, Child of Mecha. There you go. for Brandon's little one, right? Chris Pab says, do I even want to pose mine next to yours and Brian's at this point? I mean, I don't know. Do you? Pabby, it's only something that you can answer. Written Wise, he says, oh my god, I've been watching this stream the entire time thinking I was the only one commenting on YouTube. Nothing was being loaded for me. Oh, dude. YouTube will do that to you sometimes. It'll mess with you. Brandon says, YouTube chat has been screwing up a lot lately, lagging or not even showing chat or not allowing me to chat. Yeah. It's been weird, right? Server load, I think. Greg Nako says, nah, blacksmithing. Yeah, that's how you bleed on it, right? R. Aurora says, dang it, Tim. I'm going to have to copy that detail for the Master Grade Unicorn. Hey, man, go for it. Written Wisely says, I'm just laughing at myself, but that was why I was going to claim chat for the queen since I thought everyone was being weirdly quiet. Nice. Nice. Very good. Consento25, getting my wallet ready now. There you go. Brendan says, I want to paint my chopper too. Why? I think it looks slick right now as it is. Brandon says 1.5 is what I meant. Fat fingered that. Gotcha. Consento25 over there on YouTube, he says, I'm also a part of the Team SD Buildoff going for the SD ground type. I like it. Nice. I like it. Jeff Santiago over there on YouTube says, it was fun. Learned new stuff hanging around. Will surely come back. Thanks, Tim and peeps. Keep safe, stay at home, and build. Night all. Hey, Jeff, thank you for watching, buddy. Give my best to everybody over there in Dubai. If you happen to run into anybody else, because, man, I loved hanging out with you guys. That was such an amazing time in January. I wish I could come back soon. Yeah, just super fun. Super fun. All right, kids. Let's put a bow on this thing, shall we? Let's get the helmet back on here. Let's go camera 1. All right, so you guys, good stream today. Got a lot of stuff done. Good scribing and stuff like that. So we're going to wrap this up here. Hey, if you want one of these awesome little Gundam Skull hats, go hit up www.chadamecha.com. Hit the store button up at the top. You will find this hat and many more. You'll find shirts, prints of my work, all sorts of fun stuff in there. Go load up on all that. We ship worldwide, so it's good stuff. If you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we worked with here today, there's an Amazon link below somewhere here on Twitch and YouTube, that side if you're watching on Facebook. I do get a bit of a commission based off the stuff that you buy, but it does not increase the cost for you. Tons of cool stuff in there, tools and materials like we said, books for inspiration, gear for streaming if you want to get into that. Now is the perfect time. And everything that you buy kind of goes to help me out, help out the stream, and fuel our endeavors kind of moving forward. So definitely go load up on that stuff as well. And then lastly, and as always, if you are in need of kits, paints, tools, accessories, what have you, Mecha Decals, sheets 1 and 2, those are both in stock and shipping now. Hit up our good friends right down here, USA Gundam Store. Adam and his fine crew down there will definitely have what you need. And they are still open. They are still shipping. And man, they are pumping orders out left and right. So go hit them up. I can't think of anything else. So I think that'll do it for today, right? Man, have a great Tuesday, you guys. Wash your hands. Stay safe. Use some common sense. Don't be one of these assholes that goes out and protests. Don't do that. That's not smart. Stay in and just be smart about it. Anyway, have a great day. I will see you guys tomorrow. We're going to jump back on this thing tomorrow, and then we're going to jump back on the GBWC build tomorrow night. Come on back for that. Guys, I will see you later.